This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot.
Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here, and I'm sure you already noticed that I'm not at my usual desk setup, and yeah, I'm standing. That's because today we're going to be taking a look at my brand new desk setup for my M1 Mac Mini, courtesy of our sponsor FlexiSpot. I'm going to go over what monitor I use, what mouse and keyboard I use, what trackpad, what dock, and a few other accessories that I use that are essential to my desk setup. Now, any good desk setup starts with, you guessed it, a desk. And this one is from our sponsor for today's video, FlexiSpot. It offers a clean, minimalist aesthetic that's big enough to fit everything I need for the M1 Mac Mini setup. This desk is part of their Vici series and is fully height adjustable from sitting to standing mode with these simple up and down buttons. Now, I kind of have a reputation for being bad at putting things together, which is why I really like that the Vici desk series is part of what FlexiSpot calls their quick install. This means that when you take it out of the box, all you really have to do is just tighten some screws on each leg and then plug in some wires, and that's kind of it. You don't have to mess around with any of the electric motors, drill any holes, or any of the other time-consuming steps you might have to do with another standing desk. And I was able to set this one up in just minutes. Other than the quick setup though, it's just a great versatile desk that's simple to use standing up or sitting down. Everything is done at the press of this button over here, and the electric motor can raise or lower the desk very quickly. So you can change from a standing to sitting position in just seconds with plenty of leg room thanks to FlexiSpot's C-leg design that gives this desk a nice clean aesthetic. And if this white desk isn't your taste, don't worry, FlexiSpot has a ton of options and combinations for your own personal style over on their website. So if you're looking for the perfect desk for your desk setup, click on the link in the description to order your own FlexiSpot desk. And thank you so much to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. So what's on the desk? Well, of course we have our M1 Mac Mini. That's the title of the video, that's why you clicked on it. Now, I won't go into too much detail on this Mac Mini, and I'm sure you're more here for the overall setup than learning anything new about this Mac Mini. And if you want something more in-depth, I will leave a video up here. But what I will say that at $699 for the base model, the Mac Mini represents one of the best values right now from Apple, and just an overall great computer. The Mini is blazing fast thanks to Apple's new M1 chip. It is a super quiet computer, the fans rarely spin up, and it has a better port selection than the M1 MacBooks. And you can hook up two displays because of the Thunderbolt and HDMI ports. I think the Mac Mini right now represents the best budget computer for creators who use Mac OS. So if you're a video editor, a photographer, a musician, or a developer on a budget, you should be looking at the Mac Mini as your next computer. But what good is our Mac Mini without a monitor to connect it to? Now, I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this monitor choice because it's almost about twice as expensive as the Mac Mini itself, but hear me out. So I'm using the LG Ultrafine 5K monitor. This monitor was basically announced alongside the 2016 MacBook Pros as a collaboration between Apple and LG to make a 27-inch 5K Retina monitor that had the same quality as the 5K Retina iMac panel. I'm a huge fan of Apple displays, and I think the iMac currently has the best looking desktop display, minus the $5,000 monitor without a stand that won't be named. There's so much to like here. There's razor sharp 5K Retina resolution, the DCI P3 color gamut spectrum looks great, as does the out-of-the-box calibration, which looks so close to what you get on the iMac panel. There's also 500 nits of max brightness, so it gets super bright and even works well in spaces that have a moderate amount of sunlight. And the webcam on it is actually a 1080p webcam, so it's better than the 2019 iMac's webcam and better than the ones found in the latest MacBooks. And while this video isn't about the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro, if you hook up one of these laptops to this 5K display, Apple's True Tone display technology will also work on this display when the MacBook is open, and it works via one Thunderbolt cable connection, so you don't have to connect two different connections to get this set up. I'm gonna be fair though, it's not all great. It has pros and cons. The speakers on these are just okay. Better than most monitors, but not as good as an iMac's built-in speakers. There's also a severe lack of connections for other devices, so no HDMI port or DisplayPort means that it really only works with Thunderbolt USB-C devices. Also, my model is a little older, and I've noticed that after using it for quite some time, there's some minor image retention at higher brightness settings. It's not always there and it does go away, unlike screen burn-in, but I expect a lot more from a $1,300 monitor. However, I'm willing to put up with the weaknesses of this display because I do like how close it gets to that iMac display. Now, I know a $1,300 display is not going to be in everyone's budget, and while I'm not currently using this monitor in my setup, I do have a Patrick Tomaso approved 28-inch BenQ monitor. This one retails for around $300, accepts HDMI and DisplayPort connections, and has a really low input lag for gaming. The colors on this display aren't as great as the LG's, and because it's a VA panel, it can look downright awful when viewing it off angle, but overall, it's a decent panel and does have 4K resolution at $1,000 less than the Ultrafine, so I'll leave a link to both in the description below. You'll also notice that I also have an iPad Air set up here as well. Now, you might be wondering, why use an iPad Air with a Mac Mini setup? Well, that's because of Sidecar. That's a feature that lets you use your iPad as a portable Mac Mini monitor that you can bring with you to the couch or just use as a small secondary display. Okay, so I mentioned the speakers are kinda so-so on the Ultrafine 5K, and my iLoud micro speakers are back ordered, so what I've been using in the meantime is 2 HomePod minis in a stereo pair. They actually work pretty well given their size, and the sound quality coming out of them is pretty good. And overall, I like the quality coming out of these small HomePod mini speakers. Now, if you're using one HomePod mini, it's actually a simpler process to use these as your speaker. But because I'm using these as a stereo pair, there are some definite hangups for using these as your speakers, and you need to do some workarounds to get them to work. If you want to learn how to make them work as your main speakers in that stereo pair, I'll leave a link to a 9to5 article that helped me set them up as my default speakers in a stereo pair. Now, don't forget, the Mac Mini doesn't come with any other accessories in the box. That means we have to shop for our own mouse and keyboard. Now, for my setup, I'm using the Logitech MX Master 3 for Mac, and for my keyboard, I'm using the Logitech MX keys. Now, full disclosure, Logitech actually sent these out for me to test, but overall, I do like the MX Master 3 mouse. It is a Bluetooth mouse that can connect up to 3 different devices. It has a 70-day battery life and charges via USB-C. It also has a nice ergonomic design that is a joy to use and has 2 great feeling scroll wheels, one on the top of the mouse and also a thumb scroll wheel that I really like when using applications like Final Cut Pro 10 to navigate around my timeline. This and the 3 other side buttons near it are also customizable too through Logitech's app, and you can even change the controls on them for specific apps. Now, the MX Master keys for Mac can be connected either 2 ways. You can use it through the USB receiver that's included, or you can use it through Bluetooth and connect it up to 3 different devices. This keyboard has a really nice premium feel to it, and it has an at-home feel if you're a fan of the Magic Keyboard. The typing experience is also excellent on this keyboard, and it even has these unique spherical divots that make them extremely comfortable for long typing sessions. And the function key row is of course mapped to Mac shortcuts like brightness, launchpad, media controls, calculator, screenshots, and so on. And if you go into the Logitech app, you can even customize those to your own liking. And unlike Apple's default Mac keyboard, the Logitech MX Master Keys is also fully backlit. The keyboard is rated for a pretty low 10 days of battery life with the backlighting enabled, but it does have a good 5-month battery if you turn the backlighting off. Thankfully, just like the MX Master Mouse, the MX keys can also be charged with USB-C. Now, while for this setup I am using the Logitech MX Master 3 mouse, I also have Apple's Magic Trackpad ready. I really like the Magic Trackpad, especially for scrolling, pinching to zoom in websites, and also navigating my Final Cut timeline. It's an alternate way to use a desktop computer where we're kind of used to having trackpads on laptops, but if you like the trackpad experience, nothing beats the Magic Trackpad. Now, out of all the M1 Macs, the Mac Mini actually has the best port selection out of the other options, with 2 USB-A ports, 2 Thunderbolt USB 4 ports, an Ethernet port, an HDMI port, and a headphone jack. However, even though that port selection is better, there's times where I just simply need more connections, and what I've been using to get a lot of those connections is this Thunderbolt dock from Anker. Now, this dock is perfect for the MacBook Air and MacBook Pro, but it's also great for the Mac Mini, although you get a few redundant ports. So this dock has 4 additional USB ports, 2 USB-C ports on the front, an SD card reader, a micro SD card reader, an Ethernet port, another audio jack, and most importantly, 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports on the rear of this device. That means that even though you have to use a Thunderbolt port to connect this to the Mac Mini, you actually don't lose your Thunderbolt port connection, thanks to this dock having those 2 extra ports. So if you're like me and need just a bunch of ports, get something like this Anker Thunderbolt dock. Now, while I'm standing here, and especially while I'm using the iPhone 12 mini, I need a good wireless charging dock solution. Now, I actually recently have started using Apple's MagSafe Duo charger, which is a super small 2-in-1 charger for the iPhone 12 and Apple Watch. The charger even folds up, so it's easy to travel with, not that I'm really traveling right now. But what I like about it is that the MagSafe connection makes sure that I don't misalign my phone when I'm putting it on the charger. So having the magnets lock onto my iPhone 12 makes this an instant buy to me, because I've had so many times where I've had other flat wireless chargers where I put my phone down and it turns out that it just wasn't charging the entire time. Now, if you don't have an iPhone 12, even though you can charge your previous iPhones on this charger, I'd actually recommend going with this charger from Logitech. This one is a 3-in-1, so it can charge your phone, your Apple Watch, and your AirPods all at once. And because the phone charges vertically, you don't have the misalignment problems you might have with a flat wireless charger. Okay, let's take a break, because when I'm working hard on these
sweet vids,
I like to take some time and kick back with some quick 5-minute breaks. And lately, I've been playing a lot of Super Mario Bros. On this Game & Watch. It's just a simple little handheld console, and it plays Super Mario Bros. 1, Super Mario Bros. 2, The Lost Levels, and Ball. No one plays Ball. Now, there's nothing really special here, it's just a fun little throwback and a collectible by Nintendo that's modernized to include a color LCD display and even charges via USB-C. It sells for $50, but it's frequently out of stock, and right now there's a lot of scalpers marking this up, so be careful if you try and buy this. And when I'm done with those little 5-minute breaks, I need to focus, so I usually like to load up some music or play a podcast. And while I love the AirPods Pro for their small size, when I'm home, I actually usually turn to my Sony WH-1000 XM4. I hope I said that right. Noise-canceling Bluetooth headphones. The noise cancellation on these headphones is second to none, and the sound quality is also really impressive. Battery life lasts up to 30 hours, and again, they charge via USB-C. I feel like almost everything on my desk charges via USB-C, except my iPhone. They also have some nice gestures where you can hold your hand over the ear cup and enter into a transparency mode that activates the microphones and cancels out noise cancellation. So you can have a conversation with someone even while you're wearing your headphones. It's really great for when you're in the house and someone calls out your name, you just put your hand over the ear cup and just have a little quick conversation and then go back to listening to your music. These retail for $350, but right now, as of the making of this video, they're currently around $300 on Amazon. That's still a pretty expensive pair of headphones though. If you need something way cheaper, but still with amazing sound quality and features, check out the GadgetCast approved Soundcore Q10s. Now, these don't have noise canceling, but these headphones offer tremendous value for your money because these headphones retail for $40, but are often on sale for as low as $30. These headphones have Bluetooth 5.0 with high-res audio, a thumping bass, and 60 hours of battery life. Yes, you didn't mishear me. 60 hours of battery life, which is double the time that the Sonys get. And they also have a USB-C port for charging. They're super comfortable for long listening sessions, and they're the headphones I wear every week on my podcast, GadgetCast. By the way, check out the link in the description to subscribe to my podcast, GadgetCast. Okay, now by the end of this video, you have one glaring question that you want to ask me. Greg, what's that stupid light behind you? Well, friends, I'm glad you asked, because this is a quasar science light that my buddy Patrick Tomaso made me buy, because I'm pretty sure he wanted to have a cinematic parallel between our desk setup videos. Patrick also made a Mac Mini desk setup video. Honestly, it's a lot better than mine. You should probably go watch that one right after you're done watching this. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description. And if you like the quasar light, I don't think I do. I guess you can thank Patrick. But if you hate the quasar light, let me know in the comments below, and we can make fun of Patrick. All right, everyone, and that's what's on my new Mac Mini desk setup. I've never done a desk setup video before, so please be kind, but let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Also, if you like the video overall, make sure you give me a like. If you want to see more from my channel, including some more videos on these M1 Macs, make sure you're subscribed. If you want to purchase any of the items I featured in this video, I will have links to all of them in the description below, including our sponsor, FlexiSpot's height adjustable Vici desk. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. I'm not sure about this light.